you both for joining me today. We're talking today about Strike Back Studios Overrun. I have with me today Chris Tallman and Jack Griffo, who are two of the stars of the film. Instead of me telling the people who and what you play in the film, let's start with Chris. Tell us about the detective you play.
I play a guy who has a mustache and a beard. Behind the scenes, the makeup people extended, because I kind of am a little gray, so they used makeup to give me sort of this handlebar quality within the beard. I have to say, I looked very macho, very tough.
Is it something that maybe you're going to try to grow out yourself to keep it that way now?
I don't know. We'll see. I have this now for audition I'm sort of in the process of, and then we'll see. My dad had a mustache when I was a kid. This is the first time I've had it, and I was saying to Jack before, I feel very strange when I see myself in the mirror right now. I'm like, who is that guy?
Well, that's great. Part of I think one of the great parts of probably being an actor, you guys can tell me yes or no, is the fact that you guys can put on so many faces and so many personas, and maybe see what fits you guys better in the long run in your personal lives.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The fun part about it. Absolutely. I wanted to be so many things as a kid, and I realized that if I was an actor, I could be so many things. So that's kind of what drew me to it.
Yeah. And Jack, you're a rocker, so you kind of have that kind of always going in the back burner.
Rocker in the making.
Yeah.
Rocker. I'm just not in stores yet.
Okay.
That's coming.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Jack, tell us about Augie.
Augie's cool, man. He's a tech whiz. He is recruited by Marcus to bust him into the building. And I'm sort of the character behind the computer on the microphone, telling him where to go, what to do. And it's cool. It's a character I haven't really played before. There's some tech jumbo that I didn't really know what I was saying, but I understood for a quick second and just kind of spewed it out. Yeah, he's a really cool character, and it was awesome to get to work with Omid. We go way back from the Thundermans, so it was just another day in the office.
It seems like you guys had pretty good chemistry on screen as kind of just boys and buddies. So did you do any prep work for it? Did you maybe see somebody else who played a similar role? Because when I was watching you, especially as you guys were going through kind of the quote unquote heist scene, I thought of like, oh, he's playing that. He's very similar to that Kevin Smith character in Live Free Die Hard. That's so fun.
You know what? Josh actually showed me that scene from Die Hard. That's exactly the inspiration from it. There was a couple things that Josh showed me. Our lovely director Josh Tessier showed me to kind of channel during these scenes, and it was really cool. I had a great time. I actually shot on my birthday, which was really cool. There's no other better way to spend your birthday than shooting a movie. So
I'm sure. Well, that sounds great. I'm glad that came through, and you're able to kind of portray a character like that. Anything during the time that maybe you said something that somebody off stage was like, no, that's not a tech term. That's not something that they'd use.
Oh yeah, I definitely probably messed up some stuff, but luckily, we get to run it back and get it right. It's always interesting. Me and Chris were talking about this earlier, and when you have like a big speech, it's like you're getting through it, and your own self is like talking to you as the character, like, all right, you got this. You're almost at the end of it. You got it. Don't mess it up. We don't want to be here another 2 hours.
You have 3 golden minutes of perfect memory. And then If it goes beyond that, the microchips are inside the computer box. That's all you can say.
Probably. Let's talk a little bit about Detective Wash. I feel like he was in between a rock and a hard place with his partner Blake, and then having to deal with Dobbs.
Yes. It was a dream for me because this is probably one of the way more heavy action things that I've ever done. I hadn't worked with Johnny before, and he was great. I feel like for whatever reason, sometimes when you work with somebody, you just have a real fast chemistry. And I feel like he started calling me, I think, Donut or something like that. And just like hanging out. And I was like, I like this guy. I like this guy giving me goofball nicknames. And then working with like William Katt, like that was a dream come true for me because I was a fan of his since Greatest American Hero. And then I remember one time Josh brought him to the set just to say hi of Thundermans, and it was right before we were filming something. And Josh like, hey, Chris, come and say hi to Bill. I was like, who's Bill? And I was like, oh my God, it's the Greatest American Hero. And so getting then to work with him on the movie was just like every time I was like, don't say something stupid. Don't talk about superpowers. Be a cool guy. Be a cool cop who's got a gun.
So it looks like you both had a lot of fun with your roles on Overrun. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Definitely, no doubt.
Awesome. We've seen in the last few years, well, more than a few years, I guess, a bigger trend of stuntmen going into making their own movies, calling the shots. And director for the film, Josh Tessier, is no stranger to that. And being that this is his first feature film, how would you guys say he did?
Great. He's amazing. Yeah, he's great. And I had 100% trust in Josh, especially knowing him from the Thundermans days. This is something that he had talked about for years, and we were also excited for him to get the opportunity. And he killed it. He absolutely killed it. And I would definitely 100% work with him again on another feature that he directs.
Yeah, and it was fun because a lot of the people, a lot of faces on set for this were people that we knew back from Thundermans. They were other stunt performers or other producers. And so you really got the sense of, oh, there's a ton of people here who are working with Josh just like I am, because they love him and they want to help make his vision come true. So to see everybody like piling on all this love and support made it feel like it was a really fun set to be on.
That's a very good note. Yeah, familiarity and almost friends and family makes it a whole lot easier, especially on a first film. Now when I got to talk to Josh last week, he said that the whole thing had to be filmed in about 15 days. Can you guys talk about your experience in such a tight schedule? Is that something you guys are used to working with on indie films, or something that just was maybe high stress?
I think it's pretty normal for us, as actors. I mean, even when it comes to auditioning, sometimes you'll get a few scenes, 10, 15 pages that you have to do in a day or two. And, doing that kind of stuff sort of prepares you for this kind of a film. You only have a certain amount of days. And, for me, it was, a couple days to get in there and shoot these scenes real quick. And, it's good practice, and it's tough, but it's good. Yeah, it's definitely something I think we're used to.
Yeah, one of the scenes we were filming, the car we were using was supposed to be my car. It died in the middle of a shot, but the shot was us pulling in high speed, screeching to a stop on a mark and getting out. And like you said, because we were in such a tight schedule, there was no like replacing the car and coming back another day. So I think the shot they ended up having to use is several PAs at the back end of the car pushing it as hard as they can to give it the appearance of a screech to a stop. And then through editing, you can, cut away and stuff like that. But I was like, this is movie making. There's 3 poor sweaty dudes at the back of this car trying to make it seem like it's pulling in at 60 miles an hour, but that's showbiz.
That's movie making, man. One thing I heard a long time ago is that, directing and just making movies is just problem solving. It's just fixing the puzzle pieces. It's not natural. You have to figure it out. It's a puzzle, and what makes great movie making and directing is being able to harness that leader sort of aspect and, be calm and collected and kind of know what you're doing. Yeah.
That's a very good answer. Very good insight. Is it something that maybe, I'll ask you first, Jack, is that something you aspire to do one day, is make your own films?
Oh, definitely, man. I'm definitely interested in that. I'm interested in producing. I've produced a couple of little short films and music videos, and I've just had such a good time putting the puzzle pieces together, man. It's great. Right now I'm kind of focused on music and releasing me and my band's first song here next month. But producing and directing is definitely something that I see for myself in the future. Yeah.
What kind of music are you making?
It's eclectic, man. It's alternative rock. You know, it's a lot of stuff. We're definitely finding the sound right now. We're having, you know, lots of internal issues. We've had to, you know, let go a couple members and whatnot, but it's hard, but it's good. You know, this stuff has to happen for us to be able to release and start touring and play big shows. So I'm glad that it's happening now. You know, I have no doubt that we're gonna find the right group, and I'm really excited. You know, we started recording a couple months ago, and the songs are sounding great. And you know, it's intimidating thinking of, you know, putting stuff out, but what I've come to realize is that I like it. You know, I listen to our music in the car, I listen to it at home, and you know, for people to hop on and buy in is great. You know, if you like it, if it helps you, great. But I think what I've come to realize is that if I'm happy with it, if I like it, then I'm happy, you know, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
It sounds like it's probably the important part. And now that we've talked a little bit about it, can you give us the name of your band?
Yeah, it's called The Pretty Grit. And the message is, well, I finished Thundermans in 4 years ago, actually, like a couple days ago. It's been 4 years. Isn't that crazy, Chris?
I know. I just saw that.
It's wild, but a lot's happened since then, and I've sort of been able to get my thoughts together and sort of form these experiences into songs. And The Pretty Grit, it means a lot to me, and it means you know, how you deal with certain situations in your life, you know, the gritty situations, and making them into something pretty, something beautiful, instead of letting it oppress you and depress you, and sort of letting it mold you into the person that you're going to be, and how you rise above the adversity, you know. And that's kind of what my message is to people, and that this world is can be messed up sometimes, you know, but it's about how you deal with those issues, and let it inspire you to create art, and eventually help other people through your art.
Wow.
Phenomenal. Well, we wish you the best of luck on that, because it sounds like you're very passionate about it, which I think is probably the biggest thing, because you're going to put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah, Jack, absolutely. I need you to come over here and raise my daughters. That was a beautiful speech.
Dude, how old are your kids now?
11 and about to be 13. I'm about to have a teenager in the house. Jack, I'm in big trouble.
Oh yeah.
You and I both. My daughter's turning 11, and she's turning into a preteen a lot sooner than I'd like her to be.
Yeah.
And with some, and I don't know if you have the same experience, but half the time I get still the little girl who wants to play with dolls. And the other half, it's I want to just have my face buried in a book or an iPad. Don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, books are good.
Yeah.
Books are good. Man, I pray to God I have boys, man. Fuck.
I don't know. I don't know about you, Chris, but I wanted a girl, and that's what I got. And I was very, very happy with the result.
Yeah, my wife had a brother and no sisters. And so she really wanted our first daughter to have the experience of two sisters growing up together. So our houses, we've been very blessed in that sense. So it's fun to watch them all grow up together. But yeah, teenagerhood, there's a lot of go away, dad. There's a lot of you
don't know anything
with this. Yeah, I really don't. It turns out, spoiler, I didn't know anything.
I feel that way sometimes. I completely understand. Chris, I want to ask you, coming back to the film a little bit, because we can talk kids all day.
Sure.
What drew you to this project? Was it the familiarity with the cast? Was it the script for Overrun, wanting to be in an action film? You said you maybe hadn't had an opportunity to do that as often as you'd like.
It was all of those things. Definitely the opportunity to work on anything with Josh was exciting. And then when he started telling me about what it was, he a lot of times on set at Thundermans would say, like, I see you as being like some kind of like cop guy. And I was like, Josh, I wish you were casting me all the I would love to be a cop guy. So this has been super fun. Yeah, we got to do firearms stuff. There's a sequence. It's real short, but it's like me trying to track. Johnny is chasing Omid, and I'm of course lost somewhere. So we got to do stuff like with me falling down over mannequins and things like that. And I was like, this is great. You feel like
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
So I'm guessing most of the things you guys did as far as like firearms, everything's practical.
Yeah, I mean, not real bullets, obviously.
Right.
The thing that I hadn't experienced before was sometimes to get bullet hits around us, there are other stuntmen just off camera with I guess they're just basically paintball guns, but instead of paintball capsules, they're tiny bits of like explosives. When they hit, they fire near you, but it creates like sort of sparks. And so I think I said this to Jack before. It's like there is very little acting involved all of a sudden, because there are for real like sparks and essentially gun hits going off over your head. So your natural instinct is to duck and move fast.
It's really
super
easy
fun
to kind of go along with it, because you kind of feel like Chris got squibbed in this movie, and I actually got squibbed on the last movie that these guys did on the second, and you really feel like you get hit by like a paintball gun. Like it's real, and you're like, I'm going down, you know. But yeah, it's cool. I love being able to be in the moment like that. I did an episode on SEAL Team on CBS last year, and there was explosions going on around us, like we were in Afghanistan. You know, it's so cool when a production has the means to really put the character and you, the actor, as the character, really in that moment. And like Chris was saying, like when you don't have to act, it's the best.
Give it a chef's kiss.
I'm actually in Italy right now, so.
Oh well, I mean, you didn't have to brag, but okay.
Oh.
I'm in the Central Valley in according to my. Oh, actually, it's not that hot today. It's only 90, so I'm not going to complain too much.
It's actually really hot here too. It's really hot.
Oh,
nice. Chris, let's wrap it up here. I want to ask you, what is your biggest takeaway from working on Overrun?
Well, my biggest takeaway was how much done in such a short amount of time. Like when everybody's hustling, there was one sequence when we were shooting outside and the sun was setting, and we sort of were going to lose that location. And you could just see every person on set picking up gear, hustling, putting it in the right spot, running. And so the memory I'll take away from this was how fun it was and how much work and heart people put into it. So I'm really excited for people to see it.
Jack, same question.
I think the takeaway was I don't know.
I was like, "Whoa, here comes a big."
Yeah. I think the takeaway was just gratefulness. It was one of those projects that I didn't have to, audition for. It was something that kind of just landed in my lap. And when something happens like that, you really want to do a good job and put everything you have into it. And it like I said, it was good practice to kind of jump into a production that was already going. And there was a lot of lines that I had to sort of get in my head quickly and repeat. But, I think I made it convincing. So
you both did very well, and you just great. I appreciated talking with Josh last week, and now you two, just because you see the passion, you see the heart that goes into the film, especially on such a tight schedule, such a tight budget, and things like I would have never known about the great story about the cards failing or things like that. Without talking to you two gentlemen. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Sure. Thanks for talking, man.
Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. Overrun, everybody can check it out on their favorite platforms on August 17th from Strike Back Studios. Chris, Jack, again, thanks again, and happy Monday, and I hope the rest of your week goes well.
Arrivederci, Jack.
You too. Buonasera, molto bella, ciao.
Oh, I got to work on that. Okay.
Yeah, I always one up in.